In the sprawling suburbs and train stations of Cape Town's Cape Flats between 1986 and 1994, a series of child murders gripped communities with fear and dread. The killer became known to many simply as the Station Strangler. But who was he? How was he caught? And what became of the investigation that rocked South Africa? This is the story of Norman Afzal Simons. The Station Strangler killings are believed to have begun on 29 October 1986, when the first victim, Jonathan Clausen, 14, was found near Motterdam Station in Belleville South. Over the next 8 years, more bodies of young boys were discovered, all sharing chilling similarities. Here's a breakdown of the known timeline and victims attributed to the Station Strangler pattern. 29 August 1986. Jonathan Clausen, 14, found near Motterdam Station. Jan 1987. Yusuf Hoffman, 14, discovered in Mitchell's Plain bushland. 1987. A series of at least 6 more boys found murdered, including an unidentified boy near Motterdam Station, Freddie Cleaves, 12, in Belhar, and Samuel Nkaba, 15, in Belleville South. Octave 1987. Another unidentified boy found near Motterdam Station. 1988. Calvin Spire, 9, found near the University of the Western Cape. Oct 1992. Jacobus Lau, 10, found near Menandi Beach Dunes. Yanmar 1994. A large cluster of bodies discovered, including Elino Sprinkle, 10, Lentiger, Donovan Swartz, 12, Jeremy Benjamin, 12, Owen Hoffman, 10, Fabian Wilmore, 8, Neville Samai, 14, Marcelino Cupido, 9, Jeremy Smith, plus unidentified victims. All were found buried face down in shallow sandy graves, hands bound behind their backs and showing signs of sexual assault before strangulation, a disturbing pattern that signaled a serial offender at work. Note: although 22 children have been attributed to the case in public memory and press, only one murder was ever conclusively linked in court. For years, Cape Town police were baffled. There were few leads, no reliable eyewitnesses, and limited forensic technology, and public fear soared. One crucial figure brought into the investigation was forensic psychologist and criminal profiler Mickey Pistorius, one of South Africa's earliest criminal profilers. Her role was to analyze patterns in the killer's behavior and help link the murders together. Interestingly, during later cold case reviews in the 2000s, advanced DNA testing did not match Norman Simons to many of the bodies found. This raised questions about whether he was truly responsible for the full string of murders often attributed to the Station Strangler. After the body of 10-year-old Elroy van Rooyen was discovered in March 1994, investigators finally had enough evidence to make an arrest. Norman Afzal Simons, a grade 5 teacher from Alpine Primary School in Mitchell's Plain, was detained later in 1994 in connection with Elroy's murder. The breakthrough was not a DNA smoking gun, but rather a combination of profiling, similarities in modus operandi, and circumstantial evidence. This evidence linked Simons to the disappearance and death of Elroy. Important: police never charged Simons with the other 21 murders because the forensic evidence did not sufficiently link him to those crimes. Simons' trial opened in 1995, focusing solely on the kidnapping and murder of Elroy van Rooyen. The prosecution presented a case built on witness testimony, behavioral profiling, and circumstantial links to Elroy's disappearance. After a 3-month trial, he was found guilty of murder and kidnapping. He was sentenced to 25 years for murder and 10 years for kidnapping, a total of 35 years imprisonment. Simons appealed in 1998, but the Supreme Court of Appeal upheld his conviction and increased it to life imprisonment. Despite repeated requests and community calls to reopen the unsolved cases, many of the 22 deaths attributed to the Station Strangler remain officially unresolved. The anguish rippled through the communities of the Cape Flats. Parents stopped letting their children walk alone. Schools and neighbors formed vigilante patrols. Fear, grief, and pain became a daily reality. Many families of the other victims never received closure. Some parents, like the mothers of Donovan Swartz and Neville Samai, passed away without knowing the full truth. There are no known survivors of the Station Strangler's attacks. All identified victims were found deceased. Some children went missing and were never found, but survivors of assault linked to this case are not documented in official reports. The case remains one of the most haunting crime stories in South African history, not just for the brutality involved, but for the mystery that still lingers. Whether all victims were truly linked to Simons remains unknown. If this story kept you watching until the end, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more real stories that will leave you questioning everything. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram for exclusive clips and updates. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.